Hello again, everyone. Welcome back for our final session of the day, Oh No You Didn't, presented by Clarissa Hill and Felicia Johnson of Madisonville. This session will be recorded. All sessions from today are being recorded. They will go out tomorrow, and they'll be from Eventbrite, and they will be emailed to everyone that registered. That you may find them in clutter. Sometimes Eventbrite emails do end up in clutter. You are welcome to share these as well with anyone who wasn't able to attend today and who didn't get registered and may not have gotten the email. So that's absolutely fine to share that with them. Okay. Our presenters today for the Oh No You Didn't session. Clarissa Hill is a professor of computer information technology at Madisonville Community College. She's beginning her 25th year of teaching and still considers her job a blessing and a rewarding experience. In addition to teaching, Clarissa is involved with the MCC Personal Effectiveness Skills Work Group with the mission of assisting students in recognizing and realizing their professional potential and polishing and perfecting their soft skills. Clarissa has presented too many PD sessions over the years to begin to list them for you today, but enjoys sharing with colleagues and learning from presenting. Felicia Johnson is a professor of business administration and serves as MCC's coordinator for the Personal Effectiveness Skills Initiative. She has been in the field of customer service for over 20 years and received training at Walt Disney World in 2014. She's conducted numerous customer service trainings for many and varied industries in the Madisonville service area and appreciates good and exceptional customer service, but many times experiences the opposite, which just inspires her to keep on training and learning more. So please help me in welcoming Clarissa and Felicia from Madisonville. Thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences with us, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clarissa Hill. And I'm Felicia Johnson. And we are so excited to be closing out the last PD session of the day, of the week, and probably the semester. Because I know that all of you have just been sitting on the edge of your seats awaiting this final presentation this late on the afternoon of the final week of the semester. But nonetheless, we are so excited to be a part of this first ever Service Excellence Conference at the end, and especially as it occurs at the end of this semester. Because it's not like we haven't just turned our grades in a few minutes ago and we are just now getting ready to buy that first Christmas gift. Are you sitting there thinking, did I just hear that?
Oh, no, you didn't.
Sarcasm included. We're going to begin our workshop with a customer service video that demonstrates what it would be like to hear the thoughts that go through call center representatives' minds when we call them. You need to ask yourself, are we guilty of these same thoughts as our students come and visit us?
Yes, I know how long you've been holding, and I don't care.
Why, yes. I'd love to spend the next 10 minutes of my life being told what a horrible person I am by a stranger.
I'll definitely transfer you to my supervisor, who will give you the same information I just gave you.
As soon as you started yelling, I zoned out.
I'm not sorry I placed you on hold for 5 minutes. I was hoping you'd hang up. Oh, you're never going to use our company again? Great. That means I'll never have to talk to you again.
I'm going to tell you the issue is resolved so that I can go on break.
I'm telling you that I'm finishing up with another customer, but really I'm just catching up on office gossip. I asked you to repeat that because I was too busy texting on my phone. I'm going to hang up on you and pretend it was an accident.
I'm attempting to sound empathetic because quality assurance is listening.
The only perk of my job is not seeing your face. Please stop telling me this pointless story. Just tell me your problem so we can both get on with our day.
I'm saying this with confidence, but I have no idea if this information is true.
I fully intend to look you up on Facebook after this just to see how much of an asshole you are. I'm not sorry you feel that way.
I'm not sorry that happened.
Oh no, I understand. I just don't care. This job has made me dead inside.
This job has given me a fear of talking on the phone.
Listen, babe, call me hun one more time and I'll burn this place down. Have a great day.
So I'll ask the question again. Are we guilty of these same thoughts at times when a student appears before us? Do we voice them aloud? What we're going to be doing today is finding out how to reframe our perspectives so that our thoughts don't creep out. We're going to begin with telephone scenarios. And if you'll look at the little cartoon in the middle, are you the type person that does not need to be put on a speakerphone? Our first scenario is this. The phone rings and the student says, "Oh, I thought I would get your voicemail. You're never there when I call." So what would you like to say?
Well, I hope that I didn't disappoint you by answering the phone. Would you like to hang up right now and call back, and I'll just let it go straight to voicemail?
But think about it. They didn't really mean all of that about you never being there. Translated, it would be that they tried to call you over the weekend or the night before or while you were in class and they didn't leave a message. We just need to not feel so defensive and to be nice in our dealings with them. So we should probably say something like, "Well, I'm glad that I'm here for you now. What may I help you with, Beth?" Much better. Another thing that happens to me quite a bit is a student will leave some sort of garbled message. I'm uncertain of their name, but I've been instructed to return the call. I can tell that. And so what is it that you'd like to say?
Absolutely nothing. Nada, nil. You ought to wait until they call you back, since you don't have the time to decipher the message and try to figure out what their intent is.
Has that happened to you? You need to think about it. The student didn't realize that their message was unclear. Or they might have been so nervous to speak with you that they just forgot to leave the necessary return call information. What should you say? Something like, "Hello, this is Felicia Johnson from Madisonville Community College. I have a message to return a call from this number." And more than likely, the person that answers the phone will know what you are talking about.
So now we're going to transition over to body language scenarios. And so many times as instructors or staff members, we have been caught off guard by students who are a little disgruntled or at least disappointed with what they have been encountering at your college. So here's our first scenario. An irate student approaches you yelling that he was dropped from his classes because some stupid faculty member counted him absent for the first 2 days of classes. The student indicates that he didn't have a ride to school those days. The entire time the student speaks, his behavior starts to grow more agitated. Other people around are starting to stop and look at the situation unfold.
All right, think about that. Think about yourself in that situation. What would you say? Well, Smarty Birches, did you even think about using that cell phone that sticks out of your ear constantly and maybe calling me to let me know of your situation?
Obviously, that's a lot of the thought process that goes through our mind at that particular moment. But the first thing we want to do as instructors is try to diffuse the situation by acknowledging that we understand the student is upset, but also by supporting the policies and procedures of KCTCS or our local college. So perhaps we might start off by saying something like, "I'm sorry that this happened to you," which recognizes that we understand their concern, but then follow that up with the policies or the procedures that made that occur. Now, we don't want to drop them off there. We want to make sure that we offer further assistance by either directing them to the enrollment center where they can be reinstated, and even better, actually walking them to that department so they feel like you actually care about them as a person. But using this particular method, they, number one, know that you're interested in and concerned about their situation, and number two, you take the time to explain the process that caused the situation. Scenario number two. We've all encountered this one. You are busy working on your PPE that is due this afternoon. And all of a sudden, a student walks in for on-the-spot immediate assistance. This student actually had an appointment last week and failed to show up without any form of notification regarding the absence. You are quite irritated when she appears at your door and you're finding it very difficult to hide your feelings in your facial expressions. Now, I know you've all been there. What would you like to do and say at that moment?
Well, here it is. First of all, I don't even want to look up because I'm so busy. But I would like to say, you had your shot last week and you blew it. I don't have time now. Can't you see I'm busy? Quit staring at me. I'm still busy.
Even though that's the thoughts that run through our mind rapidly, as part of professionalism, we need to address that issue that the student has brought before you. Now, first of all, I know that we've always been taught that the customer is always right, but this would be a good teaching moment whenever you rephrase your response to say something like, well, if you'll give me just 5 minutes to finish what I'm working on, which implies that yes, the student has caught you at a moment in which you were intently busy with some type of task. But then you tell the student that if they can hold on for 5 minutes, we can now sit down and discuss your schedule for next semester. So hopefully that type of cue will allow students to know that they should be appreciative for the time in which you are devoting to them, given the on-spot session.
Okay. Next are email scenarios. So sorry I accidentally CC'd you on an email insulting you. Okay, here's this scenario. It's kind of painful. It's bringing back memories. A colleague asked me, you. A colleague asked you how you feel about the new grade book in Blackboard.
And the colleague replies, "It sucks. I hate it."
Well, the sad thing is it's a true story. And the sadder thing is I am that colleague that actually put that on an email and sent that back to a trusted division member because I was having a lot of difficulty during an intersession when the Blackboard was upgraded and the grade book changed quite a bit. So my email got accidentally, and I've got some quotes, forwarded to someone very important at KCTCS. And I think it kind of moved along to the gentleman that actually was working on my course, the grade book. He actually even had to take my course down where I couldn't even see my course, fix a student's grade book problem, and then he was going to put the course back up for me. When I realized he sent me an email and I followed the chain, and I hate it and it sucks was actually forwarded on and on and on. So don't do anything like that. Don't do anything like that. What I should have said is, in a more positive manner, it will take some getting used to, or there's potential, or just nothing at all. Remember, email is not private. The next scenario is this. You find yourself going back and forth through email with a colleague because you have two different opinions. So it's just back and forth and back and forth, and you're really not getting anywhere. And it's getting a little old. What would you like to say?
Well, I'll tell you the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that cap locks key and I'm going to start typing until the cows come home.
All right. So that caps lock, have any of you ever been caps locked in an email? Well, I have. And it was someone that was a little upset with me about something, and it certainly did sound like they were yelling. So rather than a back and forth, just carefully word your email so that you don't offend someone. And then consider, get this, actually picking up the phone and speaking with your colleague, or visiting them in the very next office or down the hall or even across campus if possible.
Transitioning on to workplace courtesy scenarios. Now, I don't know what your campus is like and what your office suites are like, but here at Madisonville, many of our office suites are very close in proximity. The walls are paper thin, and what happens is that conversations that go on will automatically be heard throughout the hallways. So here's our first scenario. You work in an office suite with several other colleagues. One suite mate always plays his music on his computer every afternoon. He leaves his cell phone out, and you find the ringtone loud and annoying.
Get me out of your pocket. Get me out of your pocket. I'm in your pocket.
Dun, 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 dun,
Get me out of your
dun.
pocket. I'm in your
Dun,
pocket.
dun, dun, dun,
Get me out of
dun.
your pocket.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay,
Have you had
are you
enough?
over that?
Yeah, okay.
I know we've all probably been subjected to that. Well, in addition to this situation, the person also gets several personal calls throughout the day, and he proceeds to discuss his personal information openly for all to hear. So, how are you going to handle that?
Well, what I'd like to do, the easy, non-professional thing to do would be to just slam my office door so they might pick up that I'm a little irritated, and then mumble to myself behind it.
Well, even though that might be an effective way to get someone's attention, as a professional, what we might want to do is simply try to pull that colleague aside and very non-confrontationally say, you know, I'd like to talk to you about something that tends to bother me. Your cell phone and ringing, your loud music, and your phone conversations, they're starting to affect my ability to concentrate. Most of the professionals with whom we work would be more than happy to indulge our conversation and more than happy to comply with fixing the situation in some manner. Scenario number 2. You work with an employee that drops in your office quite often to complain about her work, her personal life, and more specifically to gossip about other employees. The visits seem to get more frequent and last longer to the point that you're having a difficult time getting your work done before you leave for the day. Also, this person's negative view is beginning to have a negative effect on your mood. So for this situation, what would you like to say to this employee?
Well, before I answer that, Clarissa, I want to make certain you're not talking about me.
I would never talk about you that way, Felicia.
Okay.
I'll text you later.
That's what I thought. Anyway, here's what I'd like to say to that person. Get some therapy. You're no worse off than anyone else I know. Leave me the fridge alone.
Well, even though those thoughts run through our mind quite frequently, I'm sure, we want to remember that we have to maintain a professional environment with the people with whom we work. And so a more constructive way to address this would be, number 1, take control of the amount of time allocated to that person. For instance, if he or she pokes her head in your door and says, "Are you busy?" Please know that it's not unprofessional to say, "Well, I only have a few minutes to talk because I have to finish putting my grades in, or I have to finish getting prepped for class." Many times when you set those boundaries for your colleagues, they're going to be respectful of them. Or number 2, maybe you should just avoid the gossip altogether by changing the subject and not giving the impression that you're eager to participate, because let's face it, engaging in that type of behavior is only an open invitation to continue the gossip chain.
Our last bit of scenarios have to do with service recovery. And let's take a look at the little cartoon there. It's too cute not to talk about. We work in customer service, not in ER, folks. No life and death decisions have to be made, Chicken Little. So please stop acting like the sky is falling. Perhaps people have that sort of attitude, but our students and their issues are very real to them. And so whenever they are upset, we need to get into service recovery mode. So let's look at this scenario. I'm preparing for a class. It begins in 5 minutes, and a student I've never seen walks right on into my office without knocking. Not polite, but as it turns out, I'm her brand new spanking advisor, and she needs a financial aid degree audit filled out immediately. And she found this out when she tried to buy her textbooks, which is sort of like a service failure to her. She's upset. She's frightened. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's very frustrated. So what would I like to say?
Okay, you've got to be kidding me. I am fixing to go to class. I hate filling out those forms, especially for people that I have never met.
So what should you say? Something like, because you are her new advisor, make certain you are. Something like, can I have your name and the last 4 digits of your social security number so that I may look up your information after class, and we can meet anytime after 2:15. So set up another time for her to meet. Be conscious of being kind and concerned for her anxieties. And another thing is that we need to always be supportive, not only of our students as customers, but also our colleagues and our college. So when we express our discontent with a procedure or situation, we should do it with empathy toward our students while we support our college.
So at this point, I want to pause for just a few moments. I've really enjoyed watching your chat messages come up. In fact, I was reading those and not finding my words quickly. So very quickly, do any of you have a significant kind of scenario that has happened in which you've been involved that you'd like to share very quickly? And I'm going to pause to see if anything pops up on chat.
If you have a story, you can put it in chat, or if you would like, at the very bottom middle of your screen is the microphone button. You can click that to turn it on. If it's the first time you've used it, you may be asked, your browser may ask you to allow permission for that. So just wanted to let you guys know how to do that.
Julie, Pam, thank you so much for the compliments. I hear someone online. Looks like we have heard someone's microphone. Okay, Ruby says, let me go back, Ruby. I just switched screens. An email that upsets you to read is one you should not respond. You should not respond to right away. Ruby, you're absolutely right. I can't tell you how many times I've received disturbing emails from students, and I use the 10-minute rule. I push away from my desk, I go walk, I go do something, get a drink of water, and then I come back, because you're right. So many times our emotions become inflamed when we read those for the very first time, especially if they're typed in all caps. So that is an excellent piece of advice there. Anything else very quickly? Anybody want to turn their mic on and share very quickly instead of typing? Okay, well, I think that's got it. So what we're going to do is we're going to conclude today. Let me go back again. Let me see that last comment. Students have so much to deal with, and I try to remember that. That's excellent advice, Laurie, because so many times we get wrapped up in what our expectations are, what's important to us. The advantages of being a community college student is not only having local education opportunities, but it also is having caring staff that does recognize that they're not just students, that they're mothers and fathers, and they have other responsibilities as employees. Okay, I'm going to return us right back to our presentation so that we can wrap up today. We do appreciate all the comments that have been given. We appreciate everything that you've posted. And again, we really appreciate the comments along the way as we were giving our presentation. And so the final slide today, if I can get there very quickly,
Goes right along with that last comment about empathizing with the students and realizing that they are dealing with a whole lot. And this quote here, will let you read that to yourself, just basically says you're never going to be sorry that you were kind. And if you'll just remember that, it's going to serve you well. It's going to serve our students well. And just having a more positive attitude toward our students. You know, we were really being funny about all of these things. We don't want you to think that every time a student walks up, we have a negative thought that goes through. It's just when you're having a bad day, you're extremely busy or whatever, all of us can have those negative thoughts that we need to turn into a positive and professional encounter.
So as you log off today, we hope that you've enjoyed our presentation. We've enjoyed the positive feedback. And what we hope does not happen is that you turn off your mic, you click off the X, you push back from your desk and go, this was a waste of time because, oh no, you didn't. Thank you so much for sharing your afternoon with us. We appreciate it. Have a great holiday.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Clarissa. Thank you, Felicia. You guys had a perfect ending to a great long day of excellent information. You guys had me cracking up over here. So I enjoy that and enjoy you. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. So much of this is true, and we do get caught up in our own time with our own stress and forget that, you know, we need to make sure to be professional, to be nice, to do that. You guys caught me on a couple of things as well in there that I had to raise my hand to, but I enjoy you guys bringing that up. Sometimes things just need to be brought up for us to pay attention to them a little bit more. So thank you so much for sharing. And everyone that's still on the line, thank you all for joining us. Many of you have been here all day since 9 o'clock this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. Julia, you're very welcome. I hope to get more of these online conferences put on beginning in the spring. So you may be getting, people may be getting emails from me if I have heard rumors that you have something to present. So you never know when I'll be asking you guys. So I appreciate all of your time, and I know that we have great resources, great folks here throughout KCTCS. So I was just thrilled that we had an entire day of presentations from KCTCS faculty and staff who can share their expertise throughout the state. Thank you guys so much again. Have a great holiday break. Be careful, and let's see, stay warm, and we'll see you come January. Thanks so much, everyone. All of these sessions have been recorded, and they will go out tomorrow. Check Clutter if you don't see it. They'll come from Eventbrite, and sometimes those do end up in Clutter. And you're welcome to share those with anyone who was not able to attend today as well. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great evening and a great holiday break, and we will see you in January when we start all over. Thanks so much.